Welcome to Mojave River Valley News. I am your host, James Roberts, and on this show, we're going to be interviewing three candidates, Larry Cusack, Smitty Smith, and Rick Herrick. A variety of topics were covered this evening by Larry Cusack as it pertains locally in the town of Apple Valley, Measure O. Also, Smitty Smith and Rick Herrick talked about issues as it pertains to the state. It was a very in-depth conversation. We will be right back. Welcome back, everybody. I'm your host, James Roberts. I am sitting with Mr. Larry Cusack, Apple Valley Town Council District 1 candidate. How are you, sir?
How you doing, James?
You're good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Well, you're the incumbent. No one's running against you.
Correct.
Which is a good thing.
Yes. It is and isn't at the same time.
Right. Yeah. It's funny. I was speaking with one of your co-workers, Art Bishop, who's also on the town council, and he didn't have anyone running against him. And I kind of pressed him a little bit, and I was like, man, I think you guys should have some people running, against you to keep you honest. And he chuckled and he said, well, that means we're just doing a great job. No one didn't need it. There's no improvements needed.
And part of it is our districting this year, where it's the first time we've been districting. So a lot of people that would normally run for that have run in the past weren't able to run. So that makes it makes it a little different when you only have a section of town that you're representing. And I prefer I would rather have a group election and have the debates. And I mean, I had my committee together. We were already getting everything in line and all that. So we're working on it because we expected to have people run against us. That's right. That you have to, and you got to run and you have to win, and you have to be ready. I got
to cut you off. Only got a few minutes, and we got a lot to talk about. Let everybody know that's watching this. Tell them about yourself real quick.
So I was born here in Apple Valley. I was born at St. Mary's Hospital. I've lived here all my life. I've got 5 kids and, actually 7 kids now, or 8 kids, I'm sorry.
Oh, they keep coming. Oh, right.
They keep coming. Got 8 kids and 16 grandkids and 3 great-grandkids. So they're all pretty much local here in Apple Valley. And I've had a business here in Apple Valley Communications since my dad started it back in 1956. So I just continued it from there. So, and I've been on a lot of the commissions and committees, and I've always helped and donated my extra time for the town. So, and when it came time to run for the town of Apple Valley, it just felt right.
All right, so. And the people have been pleased with you. You're going to be your 3rd run.
Yes.
Okay. Right now, public safety, is a big issue throughout the country. What's your position on defunding the police?
We never want to defund the police. Our community is one of the safest communities here in the high desert. That's part of our reason we want to run the Measure O, the 1-cent tax increase. We want to add more deputies to our community. We want to keep our community safe. And we want our response times to be faster. So when someone calls, they get a sheriff at their doorstep when they need him. Right,
Measure O. What's been the response within the community about it?
We ran a test on this a few years ago, and there was good response for it. So we're hoping we get the same response. We have to get 50 plus 1 to have it pass. It's on the general election, so it's part of our general fund. But this is our with our town council as a whole, which unanimously voted for this. We are pushing it to help with our sheriffs, help with our parks and recreation, and helps build our general fund. When we do these things, when I'm on the council, my goal is I look out 10, 20 years, and what I do now is going to help the community down the road, because I won't always be on the council. So I have to look what's going to benefit our community down the road.
And with that money going into the general fund, how are you guys going to safeguard that money?
With the council that we have, we're set aside this money that's going to go to the sheriffs on purpose. That's our goal. That's what we do. We're a united council. We don't have people on the council right now that are going to say this money's going somewhere else. So we're really tight with our budgets, and we want to put the money where we want to put the money
Is there a particular number regarding deputies that you want to hire?
I think we're 3 to 6 more deputies,
Okay.
And as we get more tax base here, more businesses will be able to increase it. Right now, our revenues with our property tax and our sales tax now don't increase fast enough for us to add more.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the cities and towns are going to be going to this because of COVID. Revenues are down, and people want to feel safe.
They do, and that's a safe community is a comfortable community to live in.
Yeah, up here in the high desert in particular, there's speeding. People drive fast here in the high desert. Are you guys going to be allocating some of those funds with the deputies that you hired for more enforcement on the traffic side?
The sheriff spoke the other day about this, about the traffic and about the people running the red lights and people having to wait. And they're actually working on that now. Okay. So, and if we can get more deputies, that will help. But yeah, it is a problem. The intersections are getting worse. People are running more red lights. Yeah, it's getting to be a problem with more and more people moving up here.
Right. Yeah. And how are you guys getting the word out to the community about Measure O?
We have our Facebook. We have our signs out. We're actually doing small meetings with people because we can't have a big group event. So we're trying to get that out. We're doing some phone banking this weekend. We've got a group of people that are going to be calling the residents of Apple Valley just to fill them in and find out what their thoughts are and make sure they know the reasons why we're doing this.
Right, and I only have a minute and a half left. Okay. Outside of public safety and parks, where else do you think you can allocate those funds to assist this town?
Well, part of it is a lot of people want the roads fixed here in Apple Valley. We do get Measure I funds for the roads, and with the new gas tax that went in, we're actually getting some more money for that. So we'll be able to do more and more roads. We're on a road schedule here in Apple Valley. You can actually call the town and you can actually know exactly when your road's going to be repaved or resurfaced.
Oh, wow.
Every road in Apple Valley is on a plan to be resurfaced.
And with the monies that are coming in, we can speed that up. Speed up, which is a good thing.
It is.
So a lot of people have potholes, brand new cars, and have alignments are going out because of potholes.
It is a desert. The ground moves.
That's good to know. I only have 20 seconds left. I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, James.
All right, and we're just you got to get the word out for Measure O.
We appreciate it. We want everybody to vote yes on Measure O.
Well, I'm James Roberts, your host. I am sitting with Mr. Smitty Smith, 33rd Assembly District candidate for the state of California.
Thank you.
That's a mouthful.
Thank you for having me today.
I appreciate it. Let's just go ahead and get into it. Why are you running for office?
I'm running to represent the 33rd Assembly District. We haven't had representation in the high desert for about a dozen years now. Jay's been up in the mountains, Tim Donnelly's been up in the mountains, and it's time to bring it back to the desert, represent the folks here that I've represented for the last 20 years.
That's good to let everybody know. And you have an extensive resume as to public service here in the high desert. Would you let the audience know?
I've been got elected in 2004 to the Hesperia Recreation and Park District. 2006, I ran for Hesperia City Council. I've served 8 years on Hesperia City Council. 3 of those 8 years as the mayor. 9 and 10, the first of 3 gentlemen that served back to bear mayorship in Hesperia. In 14, I was the mayor again. And then in 14, we moved from Hesperia to Apple Valley. We're going to retire and say our time has been served. But in the time in Hesperia, we got the Ranchero Undercross project that they talked about for 30 years. And then 2014, everybody remembers the Ranchero on-ramp at the freeway catching fire. I was the mayor when that happened too. So you can look back into history, but we did a lot of good things in the high desert. I've been involved since we got here in 1988.
And you're currently sitting on?
I am the president of Mojave Water Agency, serving as the president of the board of that agency to make sure we have water for the future. Currently, we have over 140,000 acre feet in storage in the Mojave River right now with the RQ project. We just did a groundbreaking yesterday. We're doing an extension to Adelanto to make sure they have water for the future too.
And one of my general questions for all the candidates is what makes you qualified? And you just pretty much covered that.
and I've been a small business owner in the Valley for 36 years, concrete pumping business. So I know what it takes to sign the front of the check and to get up and work hard every day for it.
That's good to know. Let's talk about water on a state level. In the Central Valley, they had some major issues with water. with your experience currently on the water district, like what do you think can improve?
I tell you, we don't have a water shortage problem in California. We have a water storage problem, and we have to get the state to start opening up, build a reservoir. We're working on some groundwater banking, is what it's called, groundwater storage in the Mojave River currently right now. Silverwood Lake, it's above ground storage. Underground storage, you don't have to worry about evaporation, but we're going to put water back into the groundwater, into our aquifer.
And this bug is going to drive me crazy. Please let the general audience know, what are some of the major talking points of your campaign right now?
Always public safety. That's the #1 job of government. Number 2, the environmental issues that are going on right now with California. We need to get back into manage our forest right, logging, cleaning them up. Donald Trump gets beat up for raking the leaves. We don't talk about that. But let's get in and thin out our forest. Let's cut some banks through our high-powered power lines so we don't have to cut off the power to the folks and that they cause the fire. But let's get back to managing our forest, because the other impact that it's going to have is on our water table. When the ash hits the ground and then the rains and it runs off into the stream, all that impact is going to end up in our water reservoirs.
That's good to know.
And another thing people don't know, when the ash compacts, it creates like a sheet. It does not perk back in the ground, so it's going to be runoff. That's where you get more and more troubles with runoff and landslides.
Okay, and you had talked about public safety.
Public safety. We do not need to defund the police. We need to fund more deputies on the street. #1 job of government is to protect the citizens, and if they don't feel safe, they will not move into any community that they don't feel safe in. Right. And that's just a fact of life.
Right. And right now, even on the local, state, and on the federal level, there's a lot of partisan stuff going on right now. It's bad. What are you going to, up in Sacramento, you guys are outnumbered.
Well, and I'm optimistic that the numbers are going to change.
Okay.
We have to change the number, at least to stop the super duper majority that they have. They don't need any Republican votes currently right now. Let's get back to working together. There's 70% of the issues in the middle that we can both agree on. Let's work on those issues.
Okay. Have you had any reach out to anyone on the other side recently?
Multiple times. I talked to Assemblyman James Ramos in regards to some education issues. Not everybody's made for college. Right. Let's train them for a job, if it's plumbing, construction, contracting. I've been working with the Victor Valley College when I was on the foundation for airline mechanics, engine mechanics in airlines right here in our backyard at SCLA. And that is going to, you start out at $50,000 a year. That pays the rent.
Yes, it does. Sacramento, what are some of the major, or let me get 1 or 2 major issues right now that's plaguing the state? What do you think?
Not working together. It's a one-party rule, and it has been at least for 20 years now in California, and that's where we got to get back to more common sense. AB 5. It sounded good when they started it. We're going to go after the subcontractors, but it has affected hundreds of thousands of employees in California. When I was a concrete business, concrete pumping, I had subcontractors.
Right.
And that is what the construction industry pretty much runs on. To make everybody an employee, I can understand that, but some people might want to work an hour or 2. Some might want to work 4 hours after their job that they already have. So we need to address the issue of workers' comp, overtime, and make sure they're getting a minimum wage pay, but not to say that you have to do this. Let's get back to work.
I only got 1 minute left. Homelessness. We have that issue here locally and also on the state level.
And the biggest part of homelessness is our housing issues. There's so many mandates for housing that you have to have solar, you have to have fire sprinklers, and the cost of living is California too high. That is causing the homeless issue. Besides drug addiction and alcoholism, in Hesperia, my time in the city council, we reached out to every homeless person that we contacted and let them know that there's services for you. Not to just tell them about the services, get them to the services that they need.
I only got 30 seconds left. Thank you for your time today. Please look in the camera and let everybody know why they should vote for Mr. Smitty Smith.
I've been representing you in Hesperia for the last 20 years. I look forward to representing you in the state of Sacramento, state of California in Sacramento, and I'm ready to work hard. I will not give up until I am finished.
I got to let you go. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, James, for your time. Yes, appreciate everything you guys are doing here for us.
Welcome back, everybody. This is James Roberts. I'm your host. I am sitting here with Mr. Rick Herrick. He's running for the 33rd California State Assembly District. How are you, sir?
Good. Thanks for having me, James.
I appreciate it. You coming on the show. Let's jump right into it. What was your trigger point for running for office?
Jay Obernolte actually was running for Congress. It opened the seat. He's a very good friend of mine, and I would never run against him. In fact, It wouldn't make sense for me to run against him. So with him going on to Congress, the seat opening, I took a really hard look at it. And as things progressed, I looked at actually the candidates who were running and realized with my experience and what I've done and the time I've spent in Sacramento, actually lobbying for a city, that I had a good shot at this. And I actually had a lot of experience, enough experience to go into Sacramento with enough, I'll call it oomph, to try to get things done. But you know, the fact of the matter is, it's difficult in Sacramento, as we all know.
Yes.
Right at this moment, being a Republican, we've got we've got a majority who doesn't see the same things that we see here, especially in the high desert and mountain areas. So, majority of those folks are on the coastal areas.
Oh. Okay.
And because of that, they just see the world differently. And we need to bring a lot of respect back to this community, back to the high desert, and back to the mountain areas as well. And I think that I've got the right temperament and the right approach. I'll be able to do that and work with basically anybody who has a good idea in Sacramento.
The mountain folks, and so to speak, and the desert folks, we have different needs. You know, it's it's different terrain.
Yeah.
You know, and it's tough for metropolitan people to understand how desert folks live, so to speak.
No, you're absolutely right. It's just, this is a rural community.
Right.
And it's different. It's a bedroom community for other areas. People have to commute back and forth. They don't really understand that, hey, by the way, you can't get on a bus and end up in San Bernardino very easily. It's just not going to happen. You need your vehicle. So when we had this higher gas taxes that came our way, it really hurt all these communities that we want to serve. And it's those sort of things that make California really expensive. And the problem with people leaving the state is because it's so expensive. And we just have to have the entire state see that going that route is not the right way to do it. We have to make it more affordable housing and everything else for the state.
Yes, let me jump in there. I only have so much time and I apologize. Yeah. Your experience, can you please let the general audience know what that is?
This is my fourth term, or 16th year with City Council, City of Big Bear Lake. My fourth year as mayor, and previous to that I was a chairman of the Department of Water and Power. I've been also the president of our fire board, president of the Big Bear Area Regional Wastewater Agency. Currently I'm the president and chairman of a foundation, charitable foundation called the NAE Foundation, which we actually just provided $1 million to help build a zoo in the mountain area, an alpine zoo.
Wow.
President of the Chamber of Commerce as well for a number of years.
Okay. And
I own my own company, and it's a media company, a couple of radio stations,
nice.
Internet news company as well.
And to transition, what are some of the major issues right now that's plaguing us in the state?
It's our budget. I've got to tell you, when I first started to run, I'm looking back over a year ago, the issues were different. I mean, we were looking at wasteful spending on a bullet train in Central California that was going nowhere, overruns, billions of dollars. Well, now we're in a fiscal crisis with the state. And $54 billion in the hole we're going to have to go into this coming year. Now, some of that will be filled in because the economy in certain areas is doing better than other parts of the economy. For instance, construction, interestingly, has been doing very well.
Okay.
But tourism, for most places, has been way down. And so overall, we're going to lose jobs.
Yes.
Disneyland, or Disney, just lost 28,000 employees, had to lay them off because of what's happening with COVID. So that's going to reverberate for many years throughout the state. So we're looking at 2022, 2023 as kind of the turning point, we think, when actually jobs will start coming back in a normal rate. And some of them will be gone forever, sadly.
Right.
Some of the places that we love right now are going to be gone. And we're going to have a rough time.
Yeah, you know, I agree with that. And right now, the partisanship in Sacramento is pretty brutal right now. What do you think you're going to be able to do to kind of bridge that gap so you could work with the other side? Well, first thing is, you don't go to Sacramento and start poking people in the eye. Okay, we've had previously assembly members from this area who have actually, they were very effective with doing that, but they got nothing else done. I'm the type of person that I want to work with everybody, no matter what the idea, where it comes from, it doesn't matter to me. It can be an independent, it can be a Democrat, it can be a Republican, but good ideas are going to help this district. That's what I'm all about, and I want to work as a coalition with them to try to make that happen. You know, I don't have a magic wand. I'm not going to go to Sacramento and magically make things change. So I do know there's going to be some restrictions that are going to take place while I'm there, but I've got the right personality to make that, make those relationships happen. And it's good that you said you will work with anyone.
Anyone.
You know, and that's
Bring
huge.
an idea.
Yeah, because you know, right now a lot of people, oh, you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, independent. I don't want to deal with you. You know, it's almost like they're the enemy, but we're all American.
We're all Americans. We're all Californians. We love this state.
Yes.
And that's the reason why we're here. The California dream is alive. We just have to get everybody together again and kind of see we're all on the same team.
Right.
And we have different points of view, and that's good. We want different points of view. We want those ideas to come to the table. But we all have to pull the right direction and to pull the same direction. And we're going to make this state better than ever, I'm convinced.
And I only got a minute left, so we're going to be wrapping this up. We're at the height of the campaign season.
Yeah.
What are a couple of major talking points that you're going out and running on?
Well, like I said before, it's really the budget. We're going to have to really look at that very carefully, because right now I know the governor and the legislators are hoping that the federal government's going to come through with quite a bit of money. But that's a big hope, and it really depends who's elected on the national side. And we're not doing ourselves any favor by constantly picking fights with the administration. We need to stop doing that. We need to get logical, and we need to start thinking, listen, if we're going to do that, we're going to partner with the federal government. Let's start doing the right thing with them and stop doing that. The other thing, we're going to have to start looking at actually, you know, where we're going to cut, where that's going to go. I
got to cut you off. Closing arguments, so to speak. Please let the audience know why they should vote for you in 5 seconds.
5 seconds.
5 seconds. That's
Just
it.
vote for me. If you, yeah, I've got bears on my signs. They're all over the place.
Right.
And,
I appreciate
would
that.
It. Thank you.
Great
Thank you
job.
so much for
Very
having me.
strong. I have executive producer Eric Swanson with me. You were behind the scenes. You saw everything that happened.
Yes, I did.
What did you think about Larry Cusack?
Larry Cusack, I was glad to see him come through to get a chance, because neither one of the Larry or Art have somebody run against them. So I think that just get him a chance so people get to know him, they don't know him, and also talk about Measure O.
Yeah, and what about Smitty Smith? He's been around.
Smitty has a lot of energy. My gosh, for the guy like, I've known Smitty for a long, long time, and he's always got energy. He's ready to go, 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 go.
Right, and what about Rick Herrick?
Rick brings knowledge, again, from the Big Bear area. I think Rick is learning more about our area all the time. You can tell by the interview. So I think that the three candidates...